Come on. Alright. Pick it up! There we go. Well, good evening, everyone. I have returned once again. Back on VR chat, I guess. I don't know what else there is to say. Don't really have much planned tonight. Maybe some world hopping. If people get on, possibly join them, you know? But other than that, I don't know. I don't have anything planned. Maybe play more of the new Genshin update. Maybe play some more P5R. I was really liking P5R. I want to get back to it. We'll see. Crash at 7-Eleven, Treasures of Time, Orbit Lounge. Oh, see, this looks nice. Have I been here before? I swear to God, I've fucking been here before. I'm gonna join this world. And if I've been here before, I'm gonna be very annoyed. Because I swear I favorited this. I don't, this, 123 megs. No, I'm very sure I've been here before, and I'm very sure I favorited it. Like, I remember this shit. So, I don't know what's going on here. Yeah, I've been here before. I remember the water on the floor over here. Yep. Okay. Toxic. So either it's a new world, it's a template world, or something else. No, we're going elsewhere now. Treehouse, that's tempting. I like treehouses, but there are very few treehouse worlds that do things properly. This photo looks nice, but photos are frequently misleading. We're gonna try it anyways, but I am ready to be misled. Oh, I didn't have my headset volume all the way up. Initializing world. I'm guessing that the the image that I saw as the preview is actually just the background image, and it's, yep. And there's no jump. Nope. No, we're leaving. We're leaving. Scammed yet again. The fortress ruins. Let's try this. 97 megs. I mean, hey, it's less than 100. I don't know. Initializing. Not terrible. I get the vibe, I guess. It's just, I don't know. It feels fake. I don't know how to say it. Like, lack. And I don't want to say, like, empty or deserted, because you can have that vibe without feeling like nothingness. But, like, nothing is moving here to the point where it feels not right. Maybe that's what they're going for, but I don't know. Okay, there's a little room here. some toggles here. Not bad, but could be a bit better. Worlds, what else we got? Oh, this looks nice. We'll see if it actually is, but let's hop here. 91 megabytes. That's okay. I expect this to be a dull light. Okay. You know, this is very similar to another world I've been to. I don't know what to believe anymore. I don't know what to believe anymore. What is real? What is real? Which is the original version of this world? I don't know. This looks just like that other world, but with different assets and more trees. But the ground and the grass are exactly the same. Like, exactly the same. Wow, another mirror. I don't know. I don't know what to believe anymore. 2 pieces of fence just chilling there. Okay. This is off-putting. But it supports my theory that world ripping might exist. Diamond. Oh, you use it to turn on and off a video player. Nice world, but I don't know. I don't know if it's an original world or not, which makes me sad. Sky. Oh, you can change the skybox image. They give you 2 options. I like the skybox images. They're not the highest quality, unfortunately, but they both look nice. There's something down here. And I can't click on it. That's okay. But yeah, I don't know which one is the original. I assume the other one I've been to is the original. Just because the way the houses are placed on here makes it look like they were added later as an afterthought. But I don't know. Maybe the model is just free online or something. I don't know. I don't know what to believe anymore. Worlds. This looks nice. Join. Let's load into this one. Go. Perfect. Initializing. Right. The photo preview for this world looked nice, but again, it can often be... Yep, that photo was highly misleading. Love it. We'll shuffle the world. Nope. Ooh, this looks nice. Whispering Forest. Glen. Oh, that's large. Okay, yeah, it's 148 megs. I don't know what I expected. Right. Well, hopefully it's nice. Hopefully. Oh, camera's a little bit broken. Oh, it looks like my seated play settings are... Damn, this does not perform well. It's not bad, but the frame rate for what it is, lighting's nice. One sec, I have to check my Airlink settings. Things are looking mighty fuzzy. No, I still have it at fixed bitrate. That's very odd. I don't know them. Maybe it's my headset, but it's a nice world. It's just, I don't know. It doesn't perform very well. I like the setting. Wish the grass wasn't just PNGs, but you don't really notice all that much. And at least it's not head movement based. Although, unfortunately, it doesn't move at all. I don't know, it's not bad, it's just... It's fun. What about this? This looks mildly interesting. It's only 60 megs, so I don't know. We'll see. I love how creators, like world creators' tendency to not optimize their worlds at all has now led me into fearing that worlds under 100 megabytes are not going to be high in quality. And that is not true. It's just no one optimizes their I get the vibe. I love the vibe, actually. The mountain in the back looks decent. The water's a little bit disappointing. The ground texture and the way the ground is done could be a bit better, but like I get the vibe they were going for. I like it. Oh, I can't go to the other side. Wait, no, that's so sad. I wanted to like walk up that hillside. The way they did the mountains in the background was actually pretty decent, but at a certain point you can tell that it's just a PNG. If they like applied that PNG to a 3D model, it would probably look a lot better. But I like it. I like it. It is a nice world. Now, can I go through this tunnel? Probably not, is the answer. Yeah, there's a wall there. Okay. Respawn. I want to check out this little house and this little vehicle. Obviously cannot drive the vehicle, but that's okay. Honestly, not bad. Wait, is this... Oh my god, wait. I've seen other bubble blowers, but this one is really cool. No. Like, actually, though, I'm gonna go into first-person Steadicam. Fucking look at these bubbles. Like, actually, look at that. Look at how cool that is. The colors! Wait, what does it look like in the sunlight outside? I love that. Oh my god, I love that. The sky texture, too, is brilliant. Obviously, there's some low-quality spots, but I don't notice it a whole lot. I love that. That's brilliant. I love the vibe it's giving. Drink. Snacks. Well, okay. I don't know if that's a snack. I know that that's some kind of food. It's nice. It's nice. I like it. Oh, an abacus. Cool. And you can, like, you know, sit in here, run a little shop if you want. I like it. Oh, there's a little house over here with nothing inside of it. I know colliders on it. Oh, there's a little picnic mat. Or a little tarp, if you will. I want to favorite this. I don't know if it's worth I'm favoriting something else, though. Let's see what I have favorited. I'll see. Is there some? Oh, yeah, we'll unfavorite this. I don't need this. Add to playlist. Worlds 3, perfect. Oh, that's cool. It will show you a list of worlds that you have favorited that have been updated recently. Wait, that's actually so helpful. So you can, like, see. Actually, that's brilliant. Oh, now there's no one from my frequent list online. Oh well. Worlds. Nice world, though. I like it. Excuse me. We are Road Tripper Apartment. Fiji Park. Indoor water park. Ah, okay, never mind. I'm good. A water park in VR? I don't know about that one. Vote my Kenny. Huh? A lot of these are in different languages, meaning I have no clue what. What do these mean? I know this is an Avatar world, but the world photo intrigues me, so I'm gonna go there anyways. No, it's not impressive as in the photo. I've seen this template before. It's not bad, it's just... it could be a bit better. Also, music is probably highly copyrighted. But that is how it be sometimes. Home base, but spelled wrong. Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion. Night Room. What is this? Moonlit Ice Snow Square. Wait, I'm going here. That name intrigues me. 35 megs. Wait, that's small. So either it's gonna be really impressive or disappointing. Or just meh. I mean, that's also a possibility. I mean, not terrible, but I don't know. like the music. The world is... Oh, what about this one? We do a little world hopping. MF headset. More reasons to dislike the Quest 2. Already being uncomfortable. I mean, I guess it's not more reasons, it's just reasons. My head is already, my forehead's already feeling the pressure. Okay. It's not bad. The issue is the 360 photo they use in the background is really low quality. Like, if it were a little bit better, it would be passable. But, it's, in this state, it's not passable. I have to be more nitpicky with what I join. Wait. This looks cool. And it's really large. Okay, let's see. Very unoptimized Cyberpunk 2077 City. Your game will lag or even crash. I'm ready. 500 megabytes. I'm ready. Let's go. Alright, side panel's coming off. Side panel's coming off right now. My PC is going to pass away. It's 592 megabytes. Apparently it's from Cyberpunk, and we're about to try to load this in VR. Let's see what happens. Let me just go to my desktop and make sure everything that does not need to be running is completely closed. We'll even close Gigabyte App Center, close my RGB utility, we'll close that, we'll close Discord, can't close Steam or SteamVR, we'll exit the Razer software for now. I'm keeping my overlay though. Alright, everything that I can close is closed, is fully downloaded. Let's see how hard this chugs. Apparently it's very unoptimized, and my game will lag or crash, so, Oh, I see something in my preview window. It's still initializing in my headset, but the preview window shows something. Oh, VR chat's not responding. Now it is responding. It's loading in. And holy shit, they were right about it being unoptimized. Oh my god, I can barely see. It's so bad that XS Overlay says my frame rate is quote-unquote infinity FPS. My GPU usage actually went down to 22%. I think we've completely throttled, actually. It says I'm running at 11 FPS. I'm pretty sure it's much worse. Now, admittedly, this is from Cyberpunk 2070. Oh, wait, what if I turn my graphics settings down? Actually, we're gonna try that. I don't really think it will do a lot. But just in case... Turn off multi-sample anti-aliasing. Graphics. Low. Right. Guys, now I'm getting 10 FPS instead of the previous infinity FPS. It's not playable, But I can look, if I look around slowly, I don't get the black box. Mind you, the game looks like shit now, but to be fair, this is literally the city from Cyberpunk, complete with a lot of, essentially most of the fancy graphics stuff, and, yeah. My god. I'm gonna have to try to run this on desktop later and see if it's playable. Damn. 8 FPS. Woohoo, baby! It's so laggy, I can barely see. Oh god, let's hope I didn't shoot myself off the walkway. Whoa! Oh, that's some major black box. I don't know if y'all are seeing this right. Well, y'all are probably seeing the dismal frame rate. From first, wait, what if I turn off stream camera? It might be mildly playable without stream camera. Okay. Turn that off. Oh, wait, never mind. Yeah. So without stream camera, it's actually playable. Not terribly playable, but look at this. Actually, one sec, I'm turning my settings back up now. Alright. No, wait! That looks good and it's actually playable. Mostly it's the camera making it unplayable. Now, arguably, it is running at 20 FPS. But that's nice. The models, and god damn, the textures are high quality. That's probably one of the reasons why it's dying so much. The textures. Also probably numerous other things, but... Stop. Whoa! Whoa, the lag. The lag is back. The lag is... Whoa, the game is not responding. Okay, we're gonna look this way. Oh, it's all because I looked this way. Oh, it does not have a fun time if I look in this direction. Oh, it really doesn't. Okay. Okay. 20 FPS is still better than a lag fest? Oh, believe me, Kitsune. This is when I'm looking away from everything. This is what happens when I go towards everything. In my headset, it's flashing back and forth between 2 frames right now. My overlay says 0 FPS. And I don't even know if this counts as moving anymore. Mind you, this is with stream camera off. I turned the settings back up, but... Okay, we're gonna look away. We're gonna look away. Look away. Okay, that's... Okay, that's 30 FPS. This says 11, but we all know that 11 is the lowest frame rate that VRChat will display. Alright, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna turn the settings back down and see if we can get it to be playable. Like, it makes it look bad, but if it's... Okay. Turning... Okay, then. No, it's a bit more playable than before, but barely. Oh, God. Oh, no. Oh, my. I guess the performance from earlier was only because I was facing that direction. But yeah, so this is a map from Cyberpunk with all of its bells and whistles. Not all of it, but most of it. Not the actual, like, city simulation stuff, but all the graphical effects put into VRC without optimizations, and it shows. The lack of optimizations really shows. But it looks cool. I'm gonna save this for later, because I want to see what it runs like on desktop. It might actually run at, like, 50 or 60 FPS on desktop, and that would be cool. In VR, though, I loaded it in, I could barely even exist. Okay, yeah, we're respawning. Oh, okay. Let me face this way. Yeah, so when you look towards the city, it dies. But if I face this way away from the city, it's playable. I think it's just because it's rendering so much shit in. But obviously, when I turn on the camera, it just dies anyway, because it has to render everything behind me and everything in front of me. So it's essentially a slideshow. But it's okay. Let's turn the settings back up and see if it's playable. We all know it's not gonna be, but... What if I turn my... Now, theoretically, these settings are really mostly just impact VRAM, but... Oh! Alright. We love that infinity FPS! What does it say? Imagine being inside a VR world of Scarlet Nexus. Similar vibe, but less chaotic. Ah, okay. Alright, yeah, we're getting out of here. If I can open the Worlds tab, that is. It's lagging so much. I wish there was a way to know my, like, actual frame rate. Because XS Overlay just says 0 FPS / infinity FPS. And the VR chat menu won't say anything below 11. So I don't know what it actually is. Instead of browsing for new world, I should just fucking select something, because goddamn, I need to get out of here. My computer is gonna have a bad day. I think it already is. I'm pretty sure it's mostly my processor, though, because my... Yeah, it seems like my processor, like, fucking throttled everything again. Oh, there we go. There's a world here called Simple World. Let's try that. New instance. This is giving me, like, old laptop vibes. Like, this is the slowest this game is up for RAM since I left that old laptop behind. Alright. Oh my god. Playable frame rates. Oh my god. Oh my god. It's not dying anymore. Look at that. I can move things. Alright, let's see. This one might lag a little bit too, just because everything freaking passed away there. Might still be throttling a little bit, but we'll see. I mean, it's a simple world. I'll turn my settings back up, right? Yeah, okay. Fucking mirror. Home theater. Wow. That's a very simple world. Honestly understandable. Alright, let me just shuffle this. Get some new stuff. City of Glass Night. I feel like I've been there before. Oh wait, this looks nice. This looks nice. Let's try this. What's happening here? But yeah, hi Kitsune, how you doing? Nice to see you again. I don't think I said that. How have you been? Interesting. So this is where we start. I'm gonna walk through here. Oh, what the fuck? Why is it performing so terribly? Okay, no. We do a little leaving. This world's just entirely loading. I want to go there. Loading. Sleepy. Working PC building stuff at the same time is tiring. Understandable. Understandable. Oh, did you finally get all the bits you needed? Are you building it now? Oh yeah, it's the old loading menu from VR chat. That's essentially all it is. Wait in the void while you watch it load. Oh my, the music is giving me a mushy sentimental vibe? Yeah, yeah. Oh, and you even got the lasers that target onto it as well, just to give that maximum VRC loading vibe. What happens when it loads fully? I assume nothing. So close. 100, wow! Nothing happened. Realizing I could have been a big derp and or the controllers are just bad? Huh? Wait, what? I'm confused. Oh, hey, Ethan! Nice to see ya! How you been? It's been a minute. Cozy loft, actually, that's tempting, but I feel like it's a template world, just given the photo. What up? What? Not much. Vibing, actually. Funny, fun, silly story. We're supposed to, our new internet was supposed to be installed on Tuesday. So they come here to install it. Guy comes in his truck, one man, one MF. Looks around, he's like, "Oh, I can't find the box to run the cable from. I'm gonna go look up where the nearest one is." Looks it up. It's a little bit farther away. So he, gets in his truck. He's like, "I'm gonna go ask the people who own the house, whatever." So he comes back an hour later, and he's like, "Yeah, so long story short, we have to run it through 9 different fucking poles just to get to your house. So we'll come back tomorrow morning, and we'll install that for you, because, it's, like, late in the afternoon at that point. And it's probably not gonna happen that day, and it would take some more time. So, long story short, by the end of today, nothing has happened. No one has come to install our internet service. So we have to call them, and they gave us the whole goddamn runaround about setting up the service. So now apparently they're coming tomorrow, in the middle of the day, to install this shit. Okay. This was supposed to be done 2 days ago. What the fuck is up, man? Come on. I've been decent. What about you? I've been good enough. RGB controllers? Oh, okay. What's wrong? What happened with them? Yo, hi Spartan! Nice to see you again! Rip indeed. 9 poles. Yep, 9 goddamn poles. Apparently. But yeah, they just, like, didn't fucking show up today, so that was kind of, like, what the fuck? Hi. How's it going? I'm doing okay. I'm vibing. I'm doing well enough. Despite being mildly annoyed about the lack of new internet, But other than that, I'm doing well. Things are going fine enough. UPS finally got my case, as in, like, they got it, or you finally got it. Oh, getting tomorrow. Okay, brilliant. Well, that's good. I'm glad. Fancy, man. Everyone's getting their PC glow up. I see. OpenRGB doesn't have support for Lian Li controllers. I haven't gotten the Corsair ones to work yet, even though it's specifically supported. Yeah, that's whack. I don't know. That's the weird thing, too. Like, when I try to get my... Because, like, my GPU isn't supported in my motherboard manufacturer's RGB software, but it has RGB, too. It bugs me so much that they're not synced. It bugs me so much. Like, to the point where I'm literally considering just turning it the fuck off. I'm considering turning my GPU RGB off, because if it's not synced up, It's just gonna look terrible. And it's supposed to have support in OpenRGB. Because I was looking some stuff up about it. It was like, oh yeah, this one, yeah, essentially, there's supposed to be support for it in the new version. I was like, oh, maybe I don't have the new version downloaded, but I downloaded it and it just doesn't appear, which is weird because all my other stuff is appearing fine. Like even my mouse and keyboard appear fine, but the card doesn't. So I don't know. It's mildly temperamental, but that does suck. I don't know. I mean, it sucks if you're a fan of RGB. I'll be honest, I don't care a whole lot about RGB. Oh my god, my overlay's broken. That's the issue. Wait a minute, what's going on here? My entire excess overlay just isn't working. I can't interact with excess overlay at all. I'm so sorry. One sec, how the fuck do I fix this? Okay, that fucking window is just in my face, and I can't get it to move out of the way. I'm so sorry, y'all. I'll be able to check chat in 1 second. Never mind. I think... Okay, I give up. We're relaunching Steam VR. I'm so sorry, y'all. Everything is highly broken. Okay, yep. Yep, we're relaunching. We're relaunching Steam VR. VR chat's not responding. Steam VR is not responding. Oh god, yep. It is not... Steam VR is not responding. Close the Oh. So I closed the program, but it's still in my viewpoint. Oh. Come on. Okay. So Oculus still thinks that Steam VR is running when it's not? Okay. Sorry, y'all. 1 moment. So the only way my Lee and the RGB fans going to work correctly is to directly connect to my motherboard's RGB headers. Wait, is there a way to do it with not automatically without connecting it to the motherboard? Because that's always the way that I thought you had to do it. No, SteamVR launch. SteamVR, please. Also, Robert, thank you so much for the sub. An error occurred while updating. What do you mean an error occurred while updating? What do you mean? Why does it say SteamVR is already running? SteamVR is clearly not running. MF. Work, please. I just want my games to work. Okay. I see it. VR chat, please. Okay, my overlay's working. Y'all, my overlay's working. It works. Okay. Without RGB headers, the fan spin won't light up? Yeah. Wait, but how would you connect them to the PC not using the motherboard RGB headers? Does your case have like a separate little box or something to manage that? Because mine doesn't. I don't know though. But yeah, Robert, thank you so much for the sub. I appreciate it. And how you doing? Nice to see you again. Okay, game's loading again. I greatly apologize for SteamVR's fucking mishap. Load. Please.
No. We're completely fucked. We're completely fucked.
Goofy application. I swear. Everything just hates me, man. Can't have his shit in VR chat, I guess. But it's fine. Didn't even get to load into the VCAT world. Maybe it was the VCAT world today. I'm blame it on the VCAT world. Oh my god, is that Voz? Online? Wait, Voz is online. Oh my god, we're joining Voz. If you got another game to play by me, huh? Wait, Robert. I haven't even finished the last 2 games that you sent me. Where is this MF? Where is he? Where is he? Oh, he's on the roof. Okay, one sec. How the hell did he get on the roof? How the hell did he get up there? I'm gonna get taller. How? I can't get up. Wait, no, what? How in the... Wait, no. Boss, how the hell did you get up there?
Huh?
How did you get up there?
Magic, bro.
It's impossible. Wait, one sec. Even with like... No, I still can't. What? Huh? MF. Actual hacks. How?
You want me to come down here?
Yes. Wait, one sec. I have to get normal height now. One moment.
Normal.
Wait, how do I... Oh, there we go. Perfect. Hello.
Be normal.
How have you been?
Hello.
It's been a minute.
A little bit stressed out, you know. Doing
Yeah.
well.
Understandable.
The dog. What is the dog doing? He's doing some. He's doing magic.
Nope, Case doesn't have any built-in controller. That'd be either Corsair and ZXT. Wait, so then how are you supposed to connect the fans to the computer if not plug them into motherboard, huh? The biggest plus for NZXT fans is that they make JC chaining so convenient. Oh, that's cool. Unless they're like Legos. Don't worry, it was only $29.99. Oh, wow. This one. Oh, no. I'm not tall enough, no!
No! No! No!
Wait, are there colliders? Can I turn on, colliders? Let me see. Oh! Wait, one sec. No, let me toggle it. There we go. Colliders. There we go. Wait, what? Huh?
Your short body just having trouble. You
No,
have
I know,
small
but it's like...
problem.
I was in... Okay. What? Okay. Talk. This is... This game. There we go. I have to put myself in seated play while I'm standing for it to calibrate my height correctly. Anyways. There we go.
I have a lot of plans once I
Nice.
do stuff IRL.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, actually, a few days ago, I got new parts.
Ooh, nice.
I got a power supply, a
Mhm.
new RAM. I just need the case and the CPU. And storage.
Fancy. Yeah, of course.
But
Story.
you were completely right back then. Intel fucking sucks in general.
Intel has some mild skill issues.
No, here's the thing. Do you know the motherboard I showed you?
Yeah.
I have to use an i9 in order to be compatible.
Wait, what? Does it not support any lower tier processors?
No, it does not.
What?
Because like rest of the parts called like like sleeper like shit. So you can't use older parts at all. So I have to like
Aw.
use newly ones like i9.
Oh. So like even if you get like
Which
a 12th gen
I'm
i7, it won't work? Huh?
Only on like an i9 that's like somewhere there. Like a 10,
Whack.
11 or 12. The rest of one, yes, that whack, bro.
Goofy aw moment. I mean,
So
to
we
be
have to go-
fair, it's the new stuff, like, AMD released their new socket, and it's incompatible with previous chipsets, so, like,
Yeah.
but it's fine.
I love like the 4090 series. It's just like an Xbox Series X, but it's like a mini fridge.
I love it when my
be
4090
mini
burns
fridge.
down my entire house. It's so fun.
Yes. I love
I'm
me
actually
to
glad
cook
I
me
didn't buy
some
one.
egg with the 4090 series.
Yeah. Definitely.
But what's
So
even
fun.
more of a whack,
Mhm.
it's like wattage, bro. The wattage.
Yeah, no. I swear to God, I if I did get one, I'd be worried about fucking blowing the breaker in my house. Those things take so much
Yeah.
power. But no. The new AMD stuff is coming out soon. It'll probably be high wattage, but it won't have the stupid 12-pin connector, so hopefully your card won't melt.
Yeah.
But,
So
I mean, yeah.
So while we were moving and getting our PC set up,
Mhm.
my older sister discovered something that her PC won't boot up at all.
Oh. Oh no. Oh no.
And it was the graphics card
What has-
that was the problem.
Built-in 3-pin 5-volt RGB headers? Okay. Wait, really? Oh, that's depressing. That's like the one thing you really don't want to break.
No. The rest were completely fine.
Like the ones you
It's the
plug in RGB
GPU
light
that's the
strips.
problem.
Okay. That's depressing. Oh no.
It is.
Is it still under warranty? Also 4-pin
It
12-volt
is.
one, so I don't think I'm supposed to. Oh, nice. Well, that's good at least. I don't think I'm
Yep.
supposed to use those unless I want to destroy fans. Yeah, no.
No. Once I get my PC set up,
You
like
do a
my
little-
newest one, I'm gonna sell my
Mhm.
old one for money.
Yeah. Oh god.
I'm gonna put
I've
on a
been looking
new
at
egg and
selling
get
it.
money.
New egg. Go.
New egg.
I don't know. I want to sell my old parts because I upgraded graphics card, and the issue is that I don't want to have to like sell it on OfferUp or eBay because then I have to deal with like a bunch of BS. Like if it gets damaged in shipping, I have to deal with that shit. Or if like you know I have to if it's an OfferUp, I have to deal with like pick up in person and stuff. But like my headset broke, my Rift broke. And so now I have to use the Quest, which has issues. And it's sad. This goddamn headset, if I take the headset off, it disconnects from my PC, and it won't reconnect until I restart the headset. I can't. It's goofy, but it's okay. It's okay. I'm looking at a new headset. It's just they cost like money, and I don't have money. I spent it all on my card.
That's not good.
That's fine. Just cope, I guess. That's the strategy.
Cope harder, bro.
Indeed. I still can't figure out RGB on RAM and GPU.
For a
I've never
second-
got.
Oh no, that's not good. My voice mod just crashed.
Oh no. My voice mod.
It's happened to me.
Oh no. Voice mod's a little wonky.
It is.
I've never got my GPU to show up properly in RGB software
Simple
except for
fix.
the PNY one, and the PNY RGB software is kind of nah.
Perfect.
Simple. Yo, it worky.
Now you can hear me so clearly. I had to like set up audio system.
Oh, okay.
Just a simple trick.
I am for the TR socket.
This
The whatever the
game's
fucking
so
new one is.
whack. I don't know why.
I don't know.
The
Ooh.
new menu. I'm so confused.
Oh yeah, they updated the UI. It's a little bit whack and it kind of hurts performance, but it's fine. It's fine. It's technically better. No, I'm coping hard. I don't like it.
My keyboard's dying.
No.
Some of the
Oh,
keys
right,
don't
they
even
announced
work.
it.
I mean, it works sometimes, but it doesn't
Yeah.
work.
Oh, that's everything is breaking. Everything.
But once this keyboard fails, I might get a new one. I'm gonna go for a Steel
Okay.
Series keyboard.
Okay, nice. I've heard good things about
You know
Steel
the
Series.
newest keyboard?
From Steel Series? I do not.
Yeah. It's much faster than an Apex Pro.
Damn, okay. For that maximum gamer.
Point
Let's go.
2 to 3.8 millimeters evacuation point.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And you can make it wired or wireless.
Oh, okay, that's nice. Branchy.
So for wired is 1,000 hertz of keyboard wise, and wired is
Yeah.
4,000. It's like Apex Pro, not an Apex Pro, but
Okay.
Huntsman with using wired.
Nice. I don't know.
What else is there?
I've only used bargain bin Razer keyboards, so I wouldn't know the fancy stuff, but it sounds cool.
Let's see here.
Yep. You know,
There's
things
two
changed when
action
people were willing to
keys,
go into debt
action keys.
for cars, houses. Back then, but now people were willing to go into debt for GPUs. So true.
Interesting.
I went into mild debt for my GPU.
What
Okay.
else is there?
Love. Action key.
They're
Mm-hmm.
plate is aircraft rated aluminum,
Okay. Nice.
and they're keycaps are double shot PBT.
Yeah. We love good quality
uses-
products.
Indeed. I'm gonna destroy more kids on those two within.
I didn't hear the Osu for a minute. I'm going to destroy
Have you
more
heard?
kids.
Oh no, I don't think you never heard of the Wooting keyboards, have you?
The Wu-Tang keyboards? I've heard the
Yeah.
name. The last time I watched keyboard videos was half a year ago, so I don't know.
They're the off-brand version of the Steel Series.
Okay. Nice.
They have
Shot
no
PBT,
hertz
yeah,
on the
apparently.
keyboard whatsoever.
Oh. Funny.
And it's not really that great of a keyboard when it comes to rhythm games, because their keycaps are
Yeah.
not double shotted.
Okay.
They have rapid trigger, which annoys me a lot.
Mm-hmm.
What would you have? I'd rather have Apex Pro, for real.
Mhm. Yeah. Ooh. Fancy keyboard. I'm looking at their website now. Damn. The money though.
And if you, yeah, I found it on Best Buy when I was there getting my parts.
Mhm. Oh, nice. Was it?
It was
at a
189
discount, I think?
US
Oh,
dollar.
wait, that's good.
And I came across Corsair's DDR5 RAM over there.
Okay, fancy.
But all of it the rest of the parts there are just all
Mhm.
GPUs and motherboards.
Yeah. Wait, so what like platform are you going for? Are you going for like Intel 12th gen, Intel 13th gen, or Ryzen?
And 12 gen.
Okay.
What do they do then?
You have a DDR4 board, right? So you'd be using DDR4?
Mm-hmm.
Question mark. Yeah, okay. Honestly valid. Too much money for 5.
And then I was thinking of getting a new job next year. Or like
Oh,
somewhere on my
yeah.
birthday or something.
Big brain, big brain.
Mm-hmm.
I looked at jobs. It's just
You-
like, at this point, nobody wants to hire me. But it's okay.
No. But all I can say is might figure out a job. I'm gonna try to get to Geek Squad and see if I'm good, if I'm comfortable with them.
Oh, nice, nice.
If not, I'm gonna be working in a 9 to 5 gas station, get bullied by Andrew
Oh, no.
Tate.
Ah, yes. Me when the... I don't know. Looked into it, yeah. Well, I'll see. I'll look at summer
Bro,
jobs or
what
something.
else is there?
Mhm.
There's another keyboard that actually pisses me off. The Rock
Yeah.
Strix keyboard.
Wait, Asus makes keyboards? Huh? I didn't know that.
They're worse. They're bad. They're bad.
Like,
I looked at the
obviously,
video
the,
from
like, the shit ones
Hideotech,
are-
and bro, you can take off the like
Mhm.
numpads.
Okay.
It's like a
Huh?
Nintendo Switch where you just slide your numpads.
Oh, you just
and shit.
slide whatever you want. Huh? I'm googling this right
Yeah.
now.
Like what the? No, the worst part about it too, they
Mhm.
glued their like plate.
Wait, they glued it?
You cannot custom. You cannot custom
They
like
glued them.
like made it.
Oh
Yeah.
no. Wait, no, they actually exist, and they're actually asking a lot of money for them. What? I
Mm-hmm.
didn't know Asus made keyboards. That's whack.
It's a bad cave. It is whack.
Oh man,
It hurts me.
that's an F. I mean, yeah, no. Oh, let me close that. No, they have decent parts, but keyboard, I don't know about that one.
Bro, the keyboards suck.
Yeah.
I had a friend who like never like I was like playing anything after we were talking about keyboards. He has
Mhm.
50 keyboards under his bed.
Huh? 50?
He calls it
I'll
the
tell you what,
keyboard graveyard,
I should just get a kit from GMMK or just get the Master of Barebones keyboard.
which is like
You buy a Switch separately? I don't know, man.
like bro.
I don't know keyboard.
And then
50
he got me in a call with him. He
Yeah.
took like blue switches out of Red Dragon keyboard.
Mmm.
Which
Mm.
like
Goofy,
yeah, cool.
I don't know. I mean, at a certain extent, I understand why some of these keyboards still sell, because, like, brand name, plus, like, when you're used to gaming on, like, the pre-built keyboard that your fucking, like, manufacturer gives you, like, for HPs or Dells or whatever, if you buy a pre-built gaming computer, those keyboards are so ass. Like, anything looks like an upgrade. But still, it is mildly depressing. Although I'm one to talk. I fucking daily drive a keyboard that uses Razer Greens, so like, I have no right to speak.
You like that though?
It's fine though. It was cheap, and it's better than Membrane. It's a bit loud, but it's better than Membrane.
What do they? What? Let's see. Let's see what Logitech's keyboard have in store. Let's see do the like Cherry MX RGB.
RGB for maximum gamer. You know that's all that matters.
Customizable illuminated badge. That's useless. Dedicated media
Wow.
keys for gamers. Absolutely useless.
Dedicated media keys for
Detachable
gamer.
wrist rest. Absolutely useless. A
I've never actually
USB.
used a wrist rest.
Absolutely. Aura sync. Don't care.
Asus Aura Sync is competent. Not amazing, but it's competent. It's better than
Asus Aura SDK allows developers to take full advantage of the vast
more
spectrum
RGB equals more horsepower. So true.
of Aura Sync compatible PC gear from the system's illumination of. What?
At least it's a mouse step up. I can't with Razer Greens. They're too stiff and clicky for me.
Onboard memory. Save up to 6 profiles.
It was
Okay.
$60.
Ghosting it. Every
For
keystroke is
$60,
registered
that was like-
accurately without miss, no matter how fast. Don't care.
The best I could get.
On-fly macro. Don't care.
I
Windows
believe
lock
at
key.
least. Yes.
Okay.
Like that's a feature.
But
But
what's
okay.
the hertz on the keyboard?
True.
8,000 hertz folding rate.
Oh.
What?
Interesting. That's a lot.
That's
ROG Strix.
for a keyboard that is that bad, bro.
Hee 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 ha.
Alright. What else is there? What is the worst keyboard I can find? Mechanical keyboard.
The worst keyboard. Oh, believe me, I had one friend. I swear, this MF played with an Apple iMac keyboard for like 3 years.
Razer Deathstalker is the worst keyboard. Huh?
Oh god. I mean, that's understandable.
The Deathstalker
Razer makes
promo.
meh keyboards.
Which design? It has 2mm. Okay. Reasons to avoid keyboard plastic material is of cheap quality. There is flex on the keyboard when pressed from the center. It doesn't quite match functionally of the gamepad. It's cliche style keys are too flat. Okay. Corsair K68. How bad is this?
I stand by the fact that the
Oh, never mind.
only valid Corsair keyboard is the K1. Best keyboard.
You know, this is a keyboard called Wii
What? Huh?
or Re. Well then. Corsair K70 is the loudest keyboard, bro.
I don't know. At some point, like nice sound is nice, but not when it's just too fucking loud. I swear. My microphone with 2 types of audio filtering still picks up my goddamn spacebar, and I hate it.
Yeah.
Not sure if anyone
Passing
did
time
mods of
mutation
Razers where they
channeled
swap
by
switches.
losing switches. My
I'm
man's in the
pretty sure
hospital
these ones are
and losing
soldered, so
switches,
you'd
bro.
have to unsolder them. At least one's on my keyboard. But yeah.
Discussion: worst mechanical keyboard you ever used? My personal worst was a 2013 Black Widow. It wasn't because the keyboard was trash. It had real MX blues and it felt decent to type on, all things considered. True. Let's see here. What else is there? So Razer's getting trashed on. Yep, Razer.
Yep.
Razer.
Yep.
Ducky Shine
Razer is a
3.
brand, just
That's interesting.
runs off of brand recognition.
Mm-hmm.
Their laptops are
For
decent,
gamers.
but
For gamers. By
did
gamers.
you see the Razer sports bra? They released a Razer
Nope.
sports bra. It was
Oh my
whack.
god. This shit whack. You know they made it Razer Edge as like a Steam Deck.
Oh, right. I heard something about that. Whack.
Oh, okay. This
VR.
Sports Bra is so whack.
Is the bra RGB? I don't think so.
That is so whack. They don't even. It's not even RGB, bro. What? This shit not whack as fuck, bro.
You know, many manufacturers don't do solderless switches. Yeah. I don't really care too much given the price, but. Oop. Wait 1 sec. Hmm. Very funny. Oh right, did you see there's a new beta update for VR chat on Quest that supports finger tracking on Quest.
Oh shit. Oh.
Which I mean, it's not on
For
PC.
everyone, or is it for some players?
You can just if you download the VR chat beta app from App Lab, you can use it.
Okay.
I tried it out earlier today. Works about as well as you would expect. It's kind of scuffed, but I mean, it works as long as you don't move your hands more than like 8 inches away from your face. You're fine, but after that, it loses tracking.
For sure.
It's a bit whack, but it's a step in the right direction.
Everything's. Indeed. I swear, bro. One day, I'll come back to social media and be like fully everyone saying I have a job and I got more money than you. Go.
Yeah, flex on them.
Big flex. Indeed.
Actually having a life.
The only thing I have to worry about is bills, bro.
Imagine.
So I had planned, the whole fam, me and my older brother had plans for like which bills I'm gonna be taking care of. Is I'm gonna be taking care of the internet bills.
Okay, understandable.
So I go on the internet a lot.
Internet moment.
Everyone should get a VR and become a stripper. No.
Yes. Thank you, Robert. Thank you, Robert.
No.
No.
I had,
see.
No. I had 6 people to play VR chat. We were like, all right, let's go to full body tracking heaven, bro. It was a chaotic. It was a nightmare.
No.
It was a nightmare, bro.
Robert, the issue is that you don't have leg tracking on Quest yet, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Not an option. But shit, actually I was looking at getting FBT because first gen Vive trackers are getting cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. I found some for like $60 each, which isn't cheap, but it's so much cheaper than 130 each. So not bad. I just need base stations and maybe a better headset. But you know, it's fine. It's fine. One of these days. Former yes, ladder no.
I had a chat with people, and apparently, someone was like, someone's at my house. Me and my buddy I know for like 8 years now, was like, all right, guys, we're gonna be doing the Attica swatting. Because have you actually know about his death?
I did not know. Do not.
He was going mentally because he said, "We are gods, we are gods," and he wrote everything, even in the neighbors like door saying, "I am God, bro."
Yeah.
People bro, he was the funniest person until now.
Likes when Bob's, I swear.
He's a funny boy, I know for sure.
Yeah. Definitely.
What else is there? What the fuck? My hungry ass couldn't be a brain surgeon. What do you mean? What do you mean by that?
Brain surgery.
My brain doesn't work.
Oh, you have
no.
bars. It's November 2nd. Happy
Mm.
Christmas. It's officially Christmas season.
No, it's not.
It's officially Christmas season.
It's not.
She's defrosting, boss.
Bro.
She's defrosting. Okay, Google. Play All I Want for Christmas Is You by Mariah Carey.
No, bro. I'm gonna quit, bro.
Oh, my phone is lagging. Bad.
Yeah, I heard that, bro. That shit had a good delay.
MF phone, no. Please, just let me ruin people's day. Come on.
The Unreal Shift on a PC. That should be the new FNAF game.
Yeah. There we go.
Twitter universe. No! Stop! 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 Stop!
Max volume.
Maybe you got 5%. I even save.
Hey Voz, did you know that it's the thirstiest time of the year? I'm getting so copyrighted, but I don't give a shit. It's fun. Happy New Year. I'm actually excited for New Year. Hopefully, everything doesn't crash like it did a couple years ago. I'll actually get to talk to people. Plus, everyone gets on for New Year's.
Brother location.
Anyways. Oh.
Hi.
I tossed my PC. I tossed my PC on my bed. Sorry, my phone onto my bed, and it hit my side panel. That was so funny.
8 hours before Nars 26. We've got hostiles.
Whoa.
Oh, a new FNAF game.
Five Nights at Freddy?
5 Nights? 4 years on crack?
Huh? Huh?
One night with Penis 8. I'm looking into the Twitter account called Five Nights at Freddy's Fan and Game Title Game.
Oh, yes. Oh my god.
Games 4 Unseen Nightmares. 1 month at Freddy Perk Bears.
Oh, yes.
My man be on his perk 30, like perk 30.
I love Five Nights at Freddy.
I love Five Nights at Freddy.
Five Nights at Freddy.
Fish.
Fish. Me when the...
Meat.
Yeah.
Meat. Meat. Meat.
Meat?
Meat. Meat.
Meat?
The 12 states to live in. You have Maine, you have Vermont, you have New York, you have Michigan, you have Wisconsin, you have Minnesota,
Yeah.
you have North Dakota, Montana, bro,
Dakota moment.
Idaho. Why is it? Oh yeah, because Wyoming's not even there. It's just a chunk error.
Wyoming is truly a chunk error.
Then you have Washington. California? California is a fucking toxicity area where you breathe and die.
True. We love air quality.
Nevada is just nothingness but desert.
So true. Nevada pretty much is nothingness.
I'm about to find Hank over there, bro.
Hank.
If you know Madness Combat, then you know what I'm talking about.
Alright, Voz, did you see Persona 5 is on PC and Switch now? Well, and Xbox, but
That's whenever I got on my Xbox, I see Persona 5
Xbox
on Game Pass, and I have Ultimate.
Oh right, it's on Game Pass. Oh yeah, Game Pass Ultimate, nice, nice.
I had it for 1 year.
Oh, cool, cool. Vibe. Hmm.
Why is it empty?
Hmm.
Images with everything music. I had.
Hee 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 ha. Music moment.
What is it like to have a penis? It's hard sometimes.
So
It's so true.
Truer
Jinx.
words have never been spoken. Yes, indeed.
Was there?
Timing impeccable.
You are on a roll. Indeed.
Og.mp4.
Og. Drinking oil is a bad habit. Jinx oil.
Drinking oil.
No, have you seen a TikTok video where a woman just drinks oil and the title's like drinking oil is a bad habit?
No, wait, I'm looking this up right now. Where's TikTok? Where's my phone? Oh shit, I have to turn my volume down. Wait a minute. It's still on max from earlier. Drinking oil is a bad habit. Oh no. What? What the fuck? Warning, participating in this activity could result in you or others
She's the
getting
same
hurt.
chick who eats pizza. No, she eats pizza with butter on it.
No! Oh, I see that in the pinned videos. No! No!
What is wrong with her?
I want to pass away. No. Pizza with butter. Straight butter out of the carton. Drinking oil.
Yeah, bro.
No.
Why? Why? You fucked us all. Can't believe Elon Musk has bought Twitter.
Oh, right. That was a goofy thing. The day
And now,
that he bought Twitter, I saw there were multiple accounts that like changed their name to be imitating like public figures. And so one MF that had a verified account changed their username to Donald John Trump and was like, "Hey Elon, well thank you for thanks Elon. I'm glad I'm back." But no,
bro.
also his account was
And now
briefly
he's
banned.
making. Bro.
And the goofy paying for Twitter verification.
And now everyone has to pay $8 a month for being verified.
Love that. Imagine.
You could just like use Twitter for free without having to pay nothing.
True.
And now
What
Elon was
absolute
like,
bozo
haha,
would pay
funny
for Twitter?"
subscription.
Yeah. Funny, silly subscription. Elon moment.
Oh god. I scroll down and I just see LTT tweeted it out, bro.
Yeah. Elon Musk is a little bit of a
Which
goofy
are you
funny.
in the Bowser alignment chart? Oh, so this is basically like lawful good, evil, and whatever. Like D&D. I'm lawful neutral, bruh.
Lawful neutral. Elaborate. Wait,
It's Opera
where's my Twitter?
GX. So you have
Pause.
lawful good for
Pause.
Firefox. Neutral.
Pause.
Hmm?
Pause. No. You use Opera GX. No.
Yes.
You've fallen for the
I'm using
marketing
Chrome.
hype. You've fallen for the marketing hype.
Well, that's funny. I had Opera GX set up for the longest time. I just never actually set it up, so I'm still using Chrome.
Okay, that's understandable. Like, Chrome, I don't like, but I understand why people use it. Opera GX is just BS. Like, I can understand if you use Chrome because everyone uses Chrome. If you use Edge or Safari, you're a lazy ass bitch and you don't want to install another web browser. That's also mildly valid. If you use Samsung Internet, get a life. If you use Brave, understandable, but what are you really doing? You could do the exact same thing on Chrome or Edge with a couple of MF with a couple of extensions. So why use a whole separate browser? If you use Firefox, valid. If you use Tor, valid as well, but like a little bit sketchy, but valid. Alternative browsers fall under I don't know. This one only lists Firefox, Brave, Samsung Internet,
What does
Opera.
the alternative browser fall under? On Google Chromium?
I mean, if it's Chromium, everything that's Chromium based is essentially the same. Opera GX is the same as Edge, is the same as Chrome, is the same as Brave. They're just the difference is what they add. And it's barely anything. On Google Chromium, valid. I think that falls under Google Chrome, but slightly better. I think it falls in kind of the same area as like Edge or Brave. So probably neutral, good, or true neutral.
Evolution. Bro, evolution of YouTube. 2012 where ads before a video. 2015 ads between the videos. 2018 double ads before a video and several ads in between videos. 2021 videos in between ads.
Yeah.
Good thing
Wait, does no one use Firefox? No, I use Firefox. I love Firefox. We stand Firefox. YouTube ads are just dying.
Oh no, my man got the lively wallpaper, bruh. My man has a lively wallpaper in the fucking presentation school.
Even the wallpaper. But no.
I know this is fake, but it's funny. Hold on. Man preparing for No Not November dies after masturbating 62 times straight on October 31st.
What? Okay, Firefox is top IQ. It is. I use Edge and Firefox, both. Like, different Mozilla's a big L and Firefox is owned by an ad company and LibreWolf blocks too many things? Ah. I mean, yeah, that means 52 is the limit. I guess.
My man went above and beyond.
Yeah. Hey, we finally know. He answered the question for science.
Yeah. Just don't go overboard, bro.
Yeah. But no, what's up with Mozilla? Wait, why is it a big L? I'm confused.
I'd say his name. Hold on. By Call of Duty rated franchise. Holy fuck.
To be fair, I have no right to be in the browser conversation when I actively use Edge,
What
but
the
it's okay.
fuck?
Hmm?
You could buy Call of Duty franchise collection. The price of it is just so whack. You can buy
What?
every Call of Duty, bruh.
Yeah, how much?
And I don't know, is this like Euro or some shit? Hang on.
Euro moment. Wait, how many euros?
I don't know. Man.
I love how when I type in COD F, the first thing that pops up is COD free download. Franchise, Call of Duty. Oh, never mind, that's just the Steam page. It lets me view them all separately. That's a lot of games. I don't know. I haven't really... Wait, Call of Duty Franchise Collection is on sale.
Pricing, bro.
Money. And closing up with Google and other stuff that I can't remember off the top of my head. Wait, no, like define closing up with Google. I'm confused. Like, I know Google's the default search engine on Firefox, but I don't know what else it would be. Download fish. Download fish. I know, huh? I really do need to download some fish. Euro. Me when the euro.
That is 948 euros, bro.
Bro.
For 40 games of Call of Duty, bro.
I don't think that's worth it, considering that, like, all the older COD games are on, like, fucking PlayStation, and you can just pirate them. Just do that.
This one has Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, bro. Call of Duty 2. This has older games.
Yeah. I mean, the first Call of
And
Duty is still
amazing.
listed on Steam. So, like...
Yeah. Let's see what's going on here.
But you can probably just get them so much cheaper elsewhere. Like, they're probably on key websites for
Baller.
pennies. Or on other consoles for real cheap as well. But yes, download fish for free. Free fish. "8:06 p.m.
Oh my god. Singing Monsters sings Microwave.
My Singing Monsters. Oh my god, I fucking love that game.
They're singing Microwave.
I swear. When I first got my PS Vita, I had no games for it. But I wanted to use that thing so goddamn bad. And so I just played My Singing Monsters, because it was one of like the 3 free games. I played the hell out of My Singing Monsters for fucking PlayStation. I swear. And then I figured out how to mod it and download games for free. But, yeah. Anyways.
This is just great.
And then my dumbass paid for Persona 4 Golden on PlayStation literally like a couple months before it released on PC. And then I proceeded to buy it again on PC. Because I'm a dumbass.
I'm gonna buy fish.png for $1.
Yes, fish.png. Wait, where is this? I need to see fish.png for $1.
I know, I'm just imagining, bro. If it was actually a thing, bro, I would seriously
Fish.
buy it.
I swear to God. No, that's the
What Elon thinks he will find if contains Trump. Tweet.arthur.ban. What we'll actually find his function is even null to switch
Wait.
null.
Fish PNG.
Is it
Etsy. Give me my fish PNG Etsy, come on. No, it's not loading. I want my fucking fish PNG. Please. 5,000 plus results, but they're not on the page. Etsy. Wait, maybe it's tripping over ad block. One sec. Oh yeah, now it works. Wait. Fish.png, $1.20. Let's go. Funky
Me
fish
when
drawing,
cringes.
digital download. Oh my god, I want that funky fish drawing. Oh man,
What?
love it.
Ego aggressively whispers how to commit tax fraud in your ears ASMR.
Hmm? What?
Hold on. Wait. I want to see if this is real.
No. The internet is goofy. Mm.
It's real. It's real.
Oh god. That's wacky.
I want to hear this.
That is I swear to God, the MF you can't go anywhere on the MF internet without like have you seen those memes where it's literally like it's the setup for a jump scare and then it just fucking cuts to a recipe on how to make crystal meth. Like what? What is humor? What is humor?
Yeah.
How?
Yeah.
God. I'm also highly worried for the state of humanity now, because I was in fucking assembly the other day, morning meeting, whatever the fuck you call it. And they were doing, because it was Halloween. And so they were doing, like, a special Halloween thing. So MF, there's a kid playing the organ. And he starts playing the song. And the first thing I think is not, oh wow, funny spooky song. No, I think, hey, this is the Blue Lobster song. This is the Blue Lobster song. I can't. I want to pass away actively. Cause like it's a famous classical piece too, but all I can think of is lobster. I swear. People are goofy to begin with, and anything they make is by extension goofy. Yes, humans are very funny, silly little creatures.
I hate the neighbor's dog. Always activating my ring camera as a fucking T-Rex, bro.
That's a cool dog. Pretty funny dog.
Me trying to make a video, realizing my audio sucks. Open shortcut to add subtitles. Shortcuts don't even work. Damn.
Hee ha. I would love subtitles. I've taken to watching just all videos with subtitles now, and I don't know why. I just find it helpful. Even if I don't need it. It's just there and nice.
I'm gonna find ASMR videos and see how bad it is.
Oh no. It's amazing how far we came. It's amazing though how far we came along because of fucking. So true. It's amazing that we haven't found ways to completely kill each other by now. But I suppose we're gonna do that soon anyway, so it's fine. It'll all come out in the wash.
What? Okay.
Whee!
What? I am
Yes,
so
this is true.
baffled.
What happened?
ASMR and Bob Ross the joy of painting roleplay.
What? Did you say Bob Ross role? Okay. Okay. No. What? No. We've come too far as humans. I think we just need to say that we've had our time. We need to let some other species take over.
Loud ASMR and this dude activating his chainsaw like to left or right, bro.
Bruh.
I don't know, bro. Oops.
Oops.
This is really bad.
What? What have you found?
What? My shoe collection.
Return to monkey. So true. I mean, that is the Elon Musk plan for Mars. Elon Musk is a very interesting human being.
Fucking Discord.
Let me check Discord 1 sec. What? ASMR, fast mouth sounds, Minecraft Dream speedrun.
Look at his face.
What is that filter? Oh no. I'm worried. I'm worried about the state of humanity. Just a little bit, you know.
Too. No, I am worried. I'm worried about humanity, bro.
So true.
What the fuck? Haircut and traditional Joker shave.
Joke. Funny Joek. Anyways, I think if animal people plan going inside, I know a lot of people. Yes, I think there are many people that would be down for that. Furries? Well, I mean, yes, but no. There's a scale, apparently. Oh my.
Furries are cool.
A friend of mine recommended me this goofy game called Spelunky, and now now I can't stop Spelunky.
You should spelunk. What's the worst lie you were told as a kid? My mom will always tell me if I was the easiest physical birth out of all the kids, I felt proud until the age of 18. I was told I was adopted. Damn.
Oh.
Damn.
Hee hee ha. I mean, did she lie though?
Leave a baby in the womb for 9 months at 98.3 degrees and it's fine. But leave it in the car at 98.3 degrees for 10 minutes and that motherfucker quit on life. What? Nah, bro, it was a gash. My favorite struggle meal.
Struggle meal moment. You could just.
Can't even eat in Ohio. Your bread turns into like blanket.
I mean, TVH is probably better than the fucking Drinking oil.
What the fuck? Wait, hold on. If you just won 30 mil and your mom's left that cost 29 mil, what do? Someone in the comments like buying her a Lamborghini and eye patch. Let's ride, Nick Fury.
Let's go. Valid. That actually the way to go. We have free.
Hey man, we used to play
Been that
back in
mission for
Halo
personal
3
preference aside.
and reached Ace. My gamer tag was Cybertron, and
Can-
I am
Come
Nemo.
on, no.
Sorry,
me
Jason died of a
as
heart
people-
attack 4 years
I think it
ago.
was just a
Following
channel
his
years.
younger
Oh,
brother
huh?
to wanna
I didn't know
fight.
that was the
That's so
term. for that.
heartbreaking. Jason, no!
Sadness.
Are the minions?
Minions, as in
Wait.
Minions: Rise of Gru.
Minions? What is the conspiracy theory you actually believe in? Removed, deleted, deleted, deleted.
Yo. I believe in Raptor Earth.
Indeed.
TBH,
Raptor.
Flat Earth L.
Oh, oh, I forget to tell you this, but I
Freaking oil
got
can be
into
worse than
Prime
people
Videos.
cooking
Like,
chicken and
alright,
NyQuil.
what should
Oh,
I
yeah.
watch if I'm on my break? So I watched The Boys.
The Boys. Huh?
It's funny as fuck.
Yeah. I've heard
I mean, it's
good.
funny. I'll tell you that, but it's like so much gore.
Yeah.
Like, oh my.
I don't know. I haven't
be
been
honest
watching
with
much. I
you-
need to watch things more.
You should.
Oh my. How do I... Oh. Wait, what? Huh?
What?
Oh. Never mind. Huh?
I posted about my husband's Shrek plate getting stuck in perfectly in my pot. Well, Shrek lives. My Shrek plate fits
You need the
perfectly into my
once you-
stainless
oh
steel
my
pot,
God.
and I can't get out.
It's a very
of the freaking-
interesting
Oh,
conversation.
he actually got it out.
Oh, hmm.
There's a weapon TF2
Just like
this
humans
got
do for
the
the
greatest name
reverse? I
saying
mean-
doing your mom.
Haha. Funny, silly, your mother joke.
Uh-huh.
Funny, silly.
Going on
Og.
images.
Google Images.
Google. Take pigs assurance purposes. Will do. I hope her car came out worse. He took a picture of the car. She was like, she looks like a fat cotton reflection. That's my 9.
Oh no.
Damn. Oh no. I have a knock knock joke, but someone has to start it. Knock knock. Who's there? I don't fucking know, dumbass. It's your joke, retard. Fuck you.
Best joke, best joke. I mean, like, watch nature shows where other animals are just going at each other? I mean, that's another good question. Probably because we like to figure out how other things work. I guess it's just funny, silly human curiosity. Spartan! Yes, one sec. One sec. Fuck. That's my keyboard! Okay. Toxic. Where is it? 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 No! I don't have it anymore! No! I don't have the live Spartan Dino! No, I'm gonna pass away.
Got called racist at McDonald's today. Tell us what happened, lad. I got called racist in McDonald's. Yeah, but why? I was being racist.
Hmm,
What?
So true.
Oh, wait a minute. This is okay. I was about to say this is from a long time ago.
Me wed McDonald.
Your man has $50. You have $200. You all go out, and the bill is $46. Who pays? The real question is,
No
why
one.
am I dating a dude with only $50? Because the guys with money all go for hot ladies. Damn,
Ooh. They'd be like,
that's
but,
not what I needed, bruh.
what
I
do you
don't
mean,
need
Robert? No, here's more than two. What is this conversation? I swear. Hmm.
Today is the day we make.
Hmm. Let's see. I swear.
Mhm.
All right, Katsuna, I have a question for you, cause you're a big brain. Do you know anything about OBS? Cause my OBS has been being a bitch recently, and I don't know what's going on. I don't know how to fix it, and it's low-key worrying. Like every single time I add a camera source, it crashes. Every single time I go to add or edit a camera source, it just crashes completely. And I've googled it.
How old
Mind
is
you, it
your
didn't go
girl?
terribly
What do you
deep,
mean?
but I can't see a solution. And I don't have to uninstall and reinstall because because like then I'd have to redo all my stuff. Were you just talking about bubble tea? Right.
It's insane how in 2 months' time PlayStation 5 will be 2 years old. You still
No.
can walk into the store and buy it normally.
I
For real.
swear. The fact that the PS5 is 2 years old worries me. What is time?
I cleaned my keyboard and I lost the key. My man's using a hyper alloy, bro. And lost the key.
Is it updated? Yup, I just
What the-
updated to the
this
newest
is not
update
funny.
today.
He did
There
lost
was
his
a patch
F
that
key.
released today. I updated it, and it's
Hell.
still doing it. It's still doing it. It used to do it, like, sporadically, where sometimes it would work. Like, when I plugged in a new camera source, and I plugged that camera source in after launching OBS, it would crash if I tried to add one. But if I just plugged it in before opening OBS, it worked fine.
YouTube channel was deleted.
But then, but now it just crashes whenever I try to add a camera source, even if I haven't plugged anything new in, even if that, like, it just does. But I remember 360 was like the
I don't know, this
console.
is funny stuff.
No.
Will a
PS3 was
boyfriend
where it's at.
Stop at 50 cal.
Ha. Uninstall and reinstall. The issue is if I uninstall and reinstall, I lose all my layouts and setups. And while most of my overlays are in the cloud, I really don't want to have to go fucking reset up everything.
Everyone just runs away to get in their car.
Drive fast.
Drive, bitch.
Speed is key. I'm gonna blame Windows for that? See, I don't know, though. Because, like, I updated, and here's the other thing. I don't know what the fuck is going on. I don't know if it's a Windows thing or not. And if it is, I just want to fix it, man. I don't care what the fuck I have to uninstall, as long as it's not OBS and I don't have to redo everything. Like, it just doesn't. I could try it now, but then my OBS would crash, and that would not be fun. I'd have to relaunch it. But I can show y'all when I get on desktop. I will, like, try to add... Robert, don't mention that name. We don't speak of that name here. We don't talk about them. Because of Streamlabs, I don't I don't buy things from the Logitech G brand anymore. Jokes aside, does the camera source work on other systems? I'm not sure. I can try that on my laptop, but last time I checked, it was working fine. That's the weird thing. It's this PC in general just has a bunch of goofy issues. I really just need to factory reset it soon. I know, like, on my laptop, I've gotten into the habit of, like, factory resetting it once every 6 months just to fucking clear everything out. If you can get OBS on other systems, oh yeah, I have my laptop right here. I'm pretty sure it's dead right now, actually. But it has OBS, and the last time I used it, it wasn't doing the stupid camera source BS. Warning, battery is critically low. Damn.
Charge your batteries.
Nah, man. Now I have to actually get my charger out of my backpack, and that would take, like,
Bro, my
minute.
someone's monetizing. One McChicken. One McChicken for the monetization, bro.
Which is
I
sad
would
because
certainly pay that.
the Roamer G Switch isn't too bad. Let me see. Get a dual PC streaming setup. Maybe that'll fix it. I can do that, but that's just a stupid amount of effort and a stupid amount of power consumption just to fix a problem that I can probably fix by uninstalling and reinstalling OBS. Like, I don't need to do all of that. 1 sec. Let me open OBS. Speed is key. Speed is key. Speed is key. I'm at 1%. I'm at 1%. Go! Go before it crashes. Plus video capture device. Add. Yeah, no, it works fine on my laptop. It works perfectly. It pops up, shows the integrated webcam, and it doesn't crash. But no, the dual PC setup is a pain in the ass. Like, I know some streamers use it for maximum performance, but it's stupid. Because then you can't do as many things with your audio setup, and the way that my capture card is just ass, so that means every single piece of content that would be recorded at 720p with fucked up colors.
Gaming capture card.
Oh wait, do you have a capture card, Boz? You have a fancy one?
I do not, but I was thinking
Ah.
thinking of getting it.
Yeah. I spent like $14 on a capture
And
card from
then I need to
AliExpress,
get
but then it was not
a
play.
new microphone.
Oh wait, what mic do you have right now?
I'm using the Fifines microphone. I'm only using this to
Oh,
do like chatting and stuff. I want to try to get a new microphone for music wise.
Oh, okay, nice, nice.
I'm gonna start doing my own music channel.
Yo, let's go.
My singing is gonna be horrible.
It won't be. I doubt it'll be that bad.
It's depending on my genre of what should I do.
Yeah.
I'm not a mostly heavy metal person. I'm more of a chill person who does like chill shit, you know?
Yeah, yeah. I feel that. But yeah, no, it's pretty goofy the way that OBS is doing weird shit like that. I don't know why. Everything's fucked up. At first I thought, oh, well, every time I launch OBS, it tells me that the WebSockets plugin is outdated and I should, like, isn't compatible or something, and I should uninstall it or update it. And so I what I do is I uninstalled that. I made sure, right? I fucking deleted all the plugins in the plugins folder. All of them. And then it was giving me errors, so I just downloaded the installer and installed on top of that and, you know, removed the fucking plugins. And it's still broken! Perhaps you already have a lot of stuff going on in your PC struggling. Like, struggling how? Because I don't feel like that would be the issue, because here's the thing. If I open up Windows Camera, it works fine. And my PC CPU usage is sitting at like 40%. There's some stuff running in the background, but I don't know why it would cause... The capture to stop responding.
And we're wondering if you're interested in doing a promo video.
Because it's only camera.
Some free NFT in exchange,
I can
looking for
add any other
NFTs.
source and it works fine.
Image. You should give. I would do that. Just like.
Whack. Oh, my mic was muted. I'm dumb. Don't worry about me. Don't worry about me. Having skill issues.
It's
But goofy, Right. 1 sec. 8:44, okay. As far as OBS overlay is concerned, that is. Wait, really? I don't know. 1 sec. Well, I can... Here, actually, one thing I should do, I'll take a fucking video of this shit.
Time to take a piss. Mario
Yo.
pissing. What the hell are you doing?
Me when the... Actually, I do need to use the restroom. I'll be right back.
Okay.
1 sec. I think...
You do be clean okay. His body's moving. Like, no. No. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do something funny. Oh.
The white light is still on my headset. I don't think it disconnected. It didn't disconnect this time! Yes! I made it back fast enough.
Just, like, moving side to side, bro.
Alright. So you can copy your overlay to the other computer and try that? Yeah.
No. We're completely fucked. We're completely
Thank you for the
fucked.
bits, Kitsune. I appreciate it. Indeed. That's the weird thing, though. I haven't added any... The scene that I was trying it on was specifically my capture card scene, which is the one that I use with my capture card. And I haven't added anything new to that scene at all since it started doing this. But it didn't do this before. Like, it was working properly a bit ago, and now... Okay. Voz, you want me to toggle the funny mic in VR chat as well, or just on stream?
Do whatever you want.
Okay, it's your choice. Do you want to hear it in-game, or just on stream?
Doing the stream.
Alright. 1 sec, funny mic is active, I just have to mute my Quest mic. Quest mic! Alright, 1 sec. Hey Google! Oh, or not. Okay, Google. Set a timer for 2 minutes. There we go. Let's hope Google doesn't lie to me. Because my Google Assistant is just whack too. It will blatantly lie to me sometimes. But it's okay. That's a whole other problem. But no. Yay, funny mic. I need to get an actual funny mic and not just this fucking shit one. I need to get like the actually get a C920 because it's the best deal. You get the funny mic and you get an okay webcam. It's perfect. This is just like, yeah, this mic only sounds this way because I'm misusing it horribly. If I wasn't misusing it horribly, it would literally just sound like a normal garbage tier microphone. But like a normal unspecial garbage tier microphone. And it's fine. Yeah. But it's okay. But I'll try copying the overlay stuff over. It's just that I don't know what I did to make it, like, I don't know what I did that made it break like this, because it wasn't breaking like this before. Like, we were doing something similar, but it wasn't crashing every time I added a camera source. And once I reopened OBS, it would work just fine with that new camera source added. Now it's just not working at all. I don't even know. I'm on the verge of giving up and just uninstalling and reinstalling because I don't know what the fuck is causing it. I think I'm gonna have to reset up everything, and that's gonna suck. But if it works, it works. And if it doesn't work, then something is sincerely fucked up with my PC, and I just need to reinstall everything.
LeBron James.
LeBron's Jade, the prawn bay, the long day.
Indeed. Alongside.
Yes. Bees? Bees? Is that a reference to the 2007 award-winning comedy Bee Movie? Oh, time's up. Fun fact, I own Bee Movie on Blu-ray and DVD, and I also have the 2-disc feature pack.
Are you gonna have like 27 like the B movie and make a video about like
Yes.
B movie DVD? B movie
Yes.
DVD.
They're so common.
It'd be like
Those are
Space
like-
Jam DVD.
Yes. Those are like the 2 DVDs that I see when I go to thrift stores. Every time. It's always Bee Movie and Hairspray. Those are like the 2 unwanted movies that you see every time. And I don't know why Hairspray is there so much, but every single thrift store I've ever been to has a copy of Hairspray. It's just like a legal requirement. If your thrift store doesn't have a copy of Hairspray, is it really a thrift store? If you have a spare drive to reinstall Windows to test, do not have a spare drive to install Windows to test. Not on my current PC, not on my main PC, but I was just in general, I really do have to reset my PC eventually, because shit is bloated. But it's okay. It's a hassle, but I should. But yeah, no. Goofy, yeah. And then I also installed the Bee Movie game. A very funny game. It's like GTA, but with bees. And mini games and stuff, but that's what the overworld is. GTA with bees. Apparently, it also
Off-brand
released
B
for
movie.
DS. Yes, off-brand B movie, B budget movie. B movie moment. Unfortunately, actually, the B movie Blu-ray that I have is like it skips a little bit, which sucks. Like, it works, but the disc is like mildly damaged. And so it skips a little bit. Like, there's some very minor scratches, and it just skips, and it makes me sad. The B movie is an A. Oh, damn, I paid $5 for this. Okay, I don't want to look at that. Okay.
Bro.
It's fine.
Have you seen Yahi Mice, bro?
I don't think so.
Yeah. Cause I was just like, this dude is like said, I was holding onto a thread.
Yeah.
He sneezes, his mun just shuts down.
What? How? What is
I
a
don't know.
powerful sneeze? Legitimately, just built different, I guess.
Yeah, so it'll be different.
Yeah. Excuse me. Whack. Anyways. Boss, I think I'm gonna get on desktop now. It's getting a bit later and I should do dailies. It was nice to
Right.
see you again. Very cool you're actually on the video game. Have a good night.
Mm-hmm. You too.
Bye. Da-da, wow, for once in my life, I actually managed to transition off VR chat in a realistic time frame. That's crazy. Anyways, time to get on desktop. Cray, yeah. Wait, oh, there's my camera. Right, I'm gonna be getting on desktop. I'll be back in just one moment. I will see y'all soon. Let me just turn on my desktop audio so I can. Come on, come here, come here. Okay.
Oh, right, I'm back. And just to show y'all the goofiness, right? I don't care if OBS crashes right now. I can restart. I can just shove the two VODs together. But, so here, for example, just to show you that my camera input sources are working fine. So if I open up the Windows camera app, right? Right now I only have one camera, but I'm going to plug in another camera, right? Just to prove my PC handles the camera fine, right? Like, this is the live input from my Vita over USB. It's acting just like a USB webcam. It works great, right? That's perfect. I can disconnect it. Wow, it goes back to just one camera. I can reconnect it, and I see the switch option, and it works. It works great. Now y'all gonna get a little bit of screenception here. So beware. But I'm gonna go ahead and add a camera source to my OBS, and it's going to stop responding. I don't know if y'all be able to see that. So actually, wait, let me pull up my stream on mobile real quick. So let's say that I want to go add a camera source. I want to go add a camera source to my stream. One sec. Why can't I pull it up? Let me pull it up. I'm on Twitch mobile. Okay, so I want to add a camera source to my stream. That's crazy. Let me just. Okay, I'm gonna select plus. I'm gonna select video capture device. Oh, you know what? Actually, let's add an existing source. Vita. So it should be picking up my Vita, right? Oh, it's not picking up anything. Let's go into this source and see what's going on. Oh. Oh. Oh, it's not loading anything. Oh. Wow, that's crazy. Oh, no, it's not responding. Wow. Oh, no, now OBS is not responding, and I can't close this window. Or else the entirety of OBS will crash. So that's funny. Like, sure, I can drag OBS to my... Oh, never mind, I can't drag OBS to my second screen. I can drag this window to my second screen. So now, essentially everything's done. It's still capturing my PC. Underneath, OBS is working perfectly fine. Yet, this is just not responding. And everything underneath is working perfectly. I can see my preview, it's just under this white haze. I can do everything else, it's just... This window stops responding. And I don't know what the fuck is going on. I'm highly confused, and now I'm gonna have to relaunch OBS. I'll see y'all in just a moment. Wow. Wow, close the program and wait for it to respond. It's... And then I relaunch it. And it just continues like nothing ever happened. It reconnects perfectly, you know? And I'm just gonna remove this. So anytime I open any camera at all, even if it's an existing one, do I have any scenes with an existing camera? Scene 2? I do actually. This one. If I were to open that camera in this scene, y'all can't see anything. But if I were, I'd be done. Maybe OBS is having trouble with loopback cameras like that? Wait, loopback cameras, like what? You mean like a fucking, like, virtual camera or something? Or... Define loopback cameras. I don't know if I have any... Wait, one sec. I'm googling this because I'm dumb. What is a loopback camera? But no, it's very funny, silly. Access to IP cameras, loopback of eCam. Aw. Virtual cameras. I only actually have one piece of virtual camera software, which is Irion. And the thing about Irion is it's not even activated. It wasn't even activated until I just opened this app. Now it's activated. I could check this box, but I don't. And I tried uninstalling it, and it's still broken, which is weird. Like, I don't know what else. I mean, if it's a virtual, would OBS virtual camera possibly be messing with some stuff? I don't know. Output. Trying to see if there are like any settings that I have to turn on. I don't know. I don't know at all. General stream. Projectors. System tray. Preview importers. Maybe? Yeah, I don't know. Multi-view. Switch between. I don't know. It's all broken. Everything is broken. It's all breaking. And like that's the weird thing too. Everything else I can add just fine. For example, like if I want to go to my OBS, and let's say I want to add like a media source, right? Media source. Wow. I can select a file just fine. What do I have? And it will play just fine. What do I have? RP replay? No. Oh, TPcast wireless adapter for Vive. Okay. Wait a damn minute.
TPcast wireless adapter for Vive installation. Today, I'm going to explain how to install TPcast wireless adapter for Vive.
Anyways,
when you
we're
open the
removing
box,
this now.
you should see three main pieces in the package: HMD receiver, PC.
Only way to tell is to do a clean install somewhere else and test. The thing is, I don't know. I have so much shit installed on my PC that I don't know what's causing it. Because my other computer, right? It has Irian installed too, and it's not doing this, so I don't think it's Irian. I don't know if any amount of testing is gonna help, because, like, look at this. Look at the amount of, like, absolute BS I have installed on this computer. That's why I'm saying I probably just need to reset it, because, oh. Come on, give me control. Literally, give me control panel. If I go into programs, how do I find out which one of these is the problem? How do I find out which one of these is the issue? There's so many of them. And I use most of them, actually. I mean, I can uninstall some of these ones that I haven't used in a minute. But I can't think of anything that I installed recently that I feel like would be messing with this. I mean, I can uninstall 3DF. Like, I installed that recently, I guess. But I don't know. No, I can uninstall Swish, too. It's gonna make File Explorer restart. But I really just need to go through and fucking uninstall everything. Everything that I'm not using. That's what I need to do. I just need to cleanse everything. Maybe then it will work. We'll uninstall 3DF. I haven't used it in a minute. I know I installed that recently, but I don't know what else I installed recently that would, like, cause it to do weird things like this. I don't know. What even... I don't know. It's fine, it's fine, it's fine. I mean... Wait, why does it have to verify file integrity? Was there a new update? Well, hey, I mean, I guess it's fitting that I'm messing around with uninstalling stuff, because they should have to load anyways. But that's the depressing thing. Until I figure this out, I can't use my capture card. Because it's a USB video source. So, it just... I don't know. While that's loading, I'll uninstall some more shit that I'm not using. Why don't I have 2 copies of Shockwave Player? I don't think I need Premiere Elements 1.0. Remove all files. Remove. What else? I mean, I don't technically need it, but I'm keeping it just in case. Bunch of gigabyte utilities. Games by Comrade. I never use any of these, so I can probably just uninstall them. be fine. Will it reinstalling as a method of maintenance? Yeah. I would reinstall, I just really don't want to fucking deal with losing all my settings, you know? I'd really rather not. I don't use WinSCP, I can uninstall WinSCP. Oh right, I can only uninstall one program at a time. Want that. I just use almost everything here. My computer really is just being wacky, like it was doing some goofy things with the, with that AI stuff as well. It's completely fucked. I really do just need to, oh, okay. I really do just need to factory reset it soon. I just don't want to, because that's the problem. I'm always in the process of recording and uploading shit or working on a project that I don't want to lose. There's almost never a time when I'm not actively in the middle of something on my PC that I don't want to lose. Well, that means that I never have time for a reset. Okay, my redemption code. Daily check-in. I do have to still do dailies. Oh, I haven't even changed my game category. Okay. Okay, what else? Did that uninstall? Yes. All of it. All of it. All of it. Remove all of it. No, I don't want to restart now. MF. Right. Dailies. I actually have so much story stuff to do. Oh, the question is, do I do the, Archon quest first or the other? I'm doing the Archon quest first. If I get to story stuff today. That is. But yeah, it's sad because I can't do anything that's not strictly on my PC. No more PS3 games, no more Wii games, no more Wii U games, no more Switch games unless they're emulated. Which is great and all, but it means that I can't play Just Dance Unlimited, I can't play Switch Online. On stream, mind you, I can still play these separately. No more Vita. I could do 3DS, but... Haha, 420 meters. Oh yeah, no, it's just... It's unfortunate. I'll find some way to deal with it. If it really gets to be too much of an issue, I will, I'll just reinstall OBS. That'll probably fix it. I love how the food delivery timer is still running while I'm actively defeating slimes. Love that. If this MF complains about the food being cold, I'm going to hunt him. Hi. So you didn't get here sooner? Okay. Give the bee to Sarah. Okay. Will do. But yeah. It's okay. I'll just cope. I'll probably do some more Google searches. I maybe do a little posting on the forums. No, I don't want to cook. Okay, well maybe I do, but like, not right now. I want to do my dailies. That's the other whack thing. Because stream restarted now, I have no clue how long I've been live for. That's 11 minutes. That's a lie. A small step for Hilichurl.
I could probably do exclamation uptime to find that though. That's just a minor inconvenience.
We go. Let's light it up. No, my sword. Adventure time.
I might just do dailies and log off, given the time. I stayed on BRT for longer than I planned today. Wait, okay. The one that I navigated to was all the way over there, but there was literally a waypoint right there that would have minimized loading times and teleport distance. Oh well. It's fine, it's fine, it's fine.
We go.
I'm somewhat mildly a bozo, but it's okay.
Rain outlines your. Let's light it up.
Oh, come on. Did MF just say supercalifragilistic?
Didn't see that.
Nah, I swear he did. I heard that. That was English.
Let's light it up.
Alright, increasing danger. Is the danger truly increasing? Oh, this is just the towers. Easy.
Adventure time.
There we go. Oh, I can't forget hit 10 rock. I must do hit 10 rock. If I do not do hit 10 rock now, I will forget to do hit 10 rock. And then I will... Yeah, it will not happen. There are events currently. Not really. That's okay. Oh my god, I didn't do the Yoimiya test run! Okay, I have to do the Yoimiya test run after I collect my stuff. Oh, no white iron chunks. That's fine, we don't need mine 10. It'll be fine, it'll be fine. Just claim.
Add Astra.
And of course, can't forget to do
Completing
the
today's
test
missions.
runs.
Here is your reward. Add Astra.
Dispatch. Wait a minute. Can I get drops by watching my own stream? No, I can't. This is so sad. It will unfortunately not give me Genshin drops for AFKing on my own.
Twitch stream. Unfortunate. Unfortunate. Right. You and me. Oh my god! I'm dumb. One sec. Oh, I have Dendroculi. Okay, one sec. I haven't checked. What is that? Bird! No, but I haven't checked my Serenity pot in ages. Oh my god. I have to do that. I have to do that. Pot spirit. Oh, there's new stuff. Wow, that's crazy. Anyways. Okay, yeah, get that friendship level up. Anyways. As always.
If you ever
And that in itself is a battle pass goal, right? Oh yeah. 675, easy. Right. I know we don't have to go back to Mondstadt to do the, we'll go to Windrise. I like Windrise. I know we don't have to go back to Mondstadt to do the trial, but I'm doing it anyways. Verb! Anyways. Trial? I've done the Yoimiya trial before, but free Primogems. I will not say no to free Primogems.
time for a light show. Steady as stone.
Okay, this is a very different party. Not bad, though. It's just like... To be fair, I deal most of my damage through elemental reactions, so... my party is configured pretty wonky itself. Yay, okay. 320 primos. I think I can get I have enough for a wish now. That's nice. The question is standard or event banner? I don't want to accidentally waste... I don't want to accidentally waste pity here. Like, I know I have essentially none, but it could happen. And then if I'm doing it. Yeah, that's fine. Didn't expect anything. Mildly glad I didn't. Was that the Windows device connect noise? Or am I hallucinating? I might be hallucinating. But I swear I just heard the Windows device connect noise. And that freaked me out. No, I just heard the... What? No, I just heard the... Do y'all hear that? And no one played the sound alert. I just heard the disconnect, reconnect, and then... Huh? I'm mildly worried. Mildly worried. Anyways, let's take these Electroculi to a statue and redeem them. I don't think we'll get a level up at all, but... my god, I still need to get that last Geoculus in Liyue. And work on Electroculi in Inazuma, but that's like not a priority. It's just that I'm so close with Liyue that it's depressing that I haven't gotten the last one. Oh yeah, no. 5 out of 22. We are nowhere near close. That's fine. The question is, what to do now? Because I have a couple minutes before we hit the 3-hour mark. I just don't know what to do with that time that would be productive at all, you know? There isn't anything I could do that would be like... I mean, I guess we could... Like, what waypoints do I still not have? I don't have this one. But I don't remember if that one is like... No, I couldn't find that one. I don't have this one, but it's probably reachable. I probably just don't have it because it's like hella far in the desert. So let's try for that. Why not? Unlocking waypoints isn't that much of a waste of time. And plus, maybe I can collect some scarabs while I'm at it. I do need scarabs for Cyno.
Time to act.
I'm working on it. I'm working on the level up. Right now, he's at... Why is there an exclamation by characters? I don't know. Where's my boy? Right now, he's at 50. Aha! Yeah, no. Dismal. I don't actively pre-farm, that's the thing.
In mind.
That's probably part of my issue, but I don't see a point in pre-farming. Like, the effort, you know? Not worth it. Okay. That's a lot of things that I do not want to fight. No. No, no, no. How far is this waypoint? Oh my. Wait, how far is it? Oh god! We're still terribly far away. What the hell? Is that just a hole in the ground? Oh no, I think that's the, that's the one from that quest. Oh wait, no, it's not, because it's not completely covered. What? So that's just a hole in the ground. Okay. Sure. Oh god, there's a Fatui there. Don't notice me, don't notice me, don't notice me, don't notice me. Oh my god, is that a meerkat? It looks like a meerkat. That looks like a meerkat. I think that's a meerkat. That's brilliant. That's so cute. What saw me? Oh, it's a MF Scorpion. These things are free.
Let's light it up. No, my sword.
Goodbye. Oh, it just gives raw meat. Okay. Right. That wasn't terribly challenging to get at all. I just assume I didn't get it because it was far away. Oh! Dendroculus. Wait, what? We're just... Huh? What? Are these stairs or something? I'm so confused. What? What is this? It's going up. What? What is going on? I don't want to fall. I'm going slowly. No, so this is the top. There's a wall. Where the hell am I? That scared me. Wait, what? So that's a... What? There's some goofy stuff going on in the desert. Wait, is this like a pyramid or a structure of some kind? I think it's an invisible structure. Oh god, what? Okay. I don't know. Help. I'm so confused. There's the fucking thing in the sky! Wait, that is so close! Wait a damn minute. That is so close. What is here on this end? Oh, it's a scorpion. No thanks.
Body and mind.
Anyways.
Time to act.
What is that? Oh, it's just a tumbleweed. Thought it might be something useful. Like, I don't know, a scarab. Is there a domain here? Oh right, I forgot all the goddamn domains are hidden under the fucking sand! Oh wait, I have to light up. Is there another one? There's probably more.
Off we go.
Huh? There's a wall here. Where is the other one? There should be another one.
Adventure time.
Yeah, I clearly haven't found them all because if I had, it would be unlocked. Oh, there's one here. Is that all? Wait, how's it not? Oh, there's one here too. Oh my god. Oh, is it behind a wall? Wait, they all just... Oh god, do I have to do them in a certain order?
Off we go.
Oh no, I'm terrible at puzzles. Up.
Off we go.
There's one more. Wait, where is it?
Off we go.
Wait, what? I swear I have them all. Oh, it's this one. No, they all just disappeared. What? Which way am I supposed to do this? I don't know. Is it even worth the trouble? Ooh, light on fire thingy.
Let's light it up. Adventure time.
Oh, and actually some stuff. Maybe I will get my hit 10 rock. I'm just going for that Dendroculus, then we'll probably log off, you know. Oh, wow, there's a... Oh, I'm out of stamina. What is this? What is this? Oh, it's a burb. Oh, it's an angry burb. Wow. Dendroculus. Oh, that one's almost completed.
Let's light it up.
Oh, it is completed. Okay, cool. Fourth. Two primos.
Better than I imagined.
Right, okay, we'll just teleport back to this waypoint. Turn in my Tendroculi, and then we'll be ending for tonight. Right. Well, that is going to be about it, but thank you all so much for watching. I really do appreciate all the love and support. I hope you all had a good time. I did, it was nice, it was nice. We vibed, we vibed. I hope you all have a wonderful evening. Don't forget to stick around for that raid, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye-bye.